press conference, coach and new captain Nic de Jager.
John, congratulations to Nic, of course. First of all, can you just tell us the thinking around appointing a new captain?
Basically, Nic's been the captain for the last couple of weeks. It's not hard and set, so to speak. It's just continuity. Boom's been sick for a couple of weeks now, and it's just important to allow him to concentrate on his game. And Nic has led well. Nic's games also improved in recent weeks as well. So it just demonstrates that he handles leadership well, as well as looking after his own performance.
So not too many changes to the team that played last week. Obviously, a lot of them are injury enforced. One would have assumed that there would be sweeping changes. Just the thinking behind keeping the consistency.
Oh, it's important to have player continuity. It is the one way to become cohesive. And secondly, there's been thought also gone into managing the athletes as well. You look at Pierre, you look at Berger, for example. They've had huge loads. They've carried a number of games towards the end of Super Rugby, and also played 80 minutes in our first 6 rounds of Currie Cup. So while I've got an eye on the short term, we've got great depth in this club, and it's important to make sure that every player has the opportunity. Should he meet the standards during the week, and likewise we will manage the athlete. I mean, we've also got a long-term plan to deal with the pre-season Super Rugby and Super Rugby, so we've got to make sure that our athletes actually remain healthy in our processes.
John, a fly half who has 2 conversions charged down the match. I suppose in the old days he might have been dropped, but times have changed.
Yeah, I mean, kicking is important, but does it really win rugby matches these days? You've got to have the mindset and the intent to score 5. I'm sure he'll take a little bit more depth in the future, closer to the posts. That's all part of learning. Tony's actually playing the game with tremendous enthusiasm and speed. I just think he probably just needs to understand there's times in the game where you've got to be a bit smarter in slow ball situations, and that's just part of the learning curve of a young fly half. Having to manage the game when you're under pressure and the ball is slow is just as important as dealing with front football.
You spoke about depth. I suppose the one exception is on lock. Do you have a long-term plan? The juniors that can come through at lock. I think you're at your last 2 senior locks at the moment.
We've got great depth in locks. We've got players overseas as well. We've got obviously locks in Super Rugby, so we've actually got great depth.
I'm speaking about the Currie Cup.
Currie Cup. That's what you see is what we've got to deal with. So it's important to get the best out of what we have. Ana's got a knee injury, so it's also looking at promoting the best of our under-21s as well. I'm also quite interested in a more mobile locking set as well, and also see some of the taller loose forwards also having to develop the skill sets of playing a 4-lock as well. I think the game has changed immensely in terms of having the back 5 to be a lot more mobile. So I think we've got a number of resources to play lock. Certainly even in our loose forward trio right at the minute, a couple of them can also move up to lock.
Sorry. John, just Martin Sposhoff, how has he settled in? You've promoted him to the bench now, and just given his success at the Lions with a fairly ambitious game plan, are you quite confident he'll fit in with your guys' roadmap in future?
I think Manitz is a really invaluable acquisition. He brings experience. He's got credibility. He's played Test rugby for a reason, and he's a very very proficient goal kicker as well. It's important to integrate him slowly as well, so we've integrated him, through the bench. He's had a lot of change in life recently as well. So bringing a young family back from overseas, having to get out of a contract. He's also had family struggles as well. So he's had to deal with that mentally. So now to come to a new club, it's important to help him belong quickly, but also not put too much pressure on him through a starting performance, and get him to understand what we're about and how we go about things, and also he'll have to earn it just like any other athlete within the club. So I think it sends a good message. He's excited, and he's just slowly communicating effectively within the group, and obviously picking up things. And it's great that how some of the players are actually starting to peer coach each other, which is an important area of growth for us. I don't think it's been a strength of ours recently, but to have experience come in and feel comfortable to be able to communicate and make adjustments without coaches being directly involved, I think is important growth.
John, the role of a guy like Lizo and what if I mean, they're guys who just come back.
He's very, very gifted, but as he's starting to understand is that it's structure that will allow him to express himself within it. And when we have structure and we stick to structure, then it means that every other player's on the same wavelength. Sometimes when you do not have structure in all aspects of the game, some players tend to do things that others will never do, but also never be ready for as well. So at least he has the ability to break a game, but we've also got enough structure now for him to understand that he can serve others, which is important. And Lizo's a very explosive young international prop. He's very young to the game. He's very enthusiastic, but his biggest strength, I think, is he's a learner, and he's willing to learn. So he wants to get better, and he's enthusiastic as a personality as well, which kind of rubs off. So we were very, very lucky to have him and Pierre. So competition is good, and as long as it's healthy.
John, did you set new goals since Monday? And if you go through this team, it's a very young team. Do you feel, are you confident that this is a team that can win the Currie Cup later this year?
No, we haven't set new goals. We've just stayed on task. Our working weeks has remained the same. We've had short weeks for a number of weeks now, which haven't been ideal, but that's what it is. And so you would like to get through a little bit more work in a couple of areas of our game, but you've just got to make sure you manage and serve the athlete first. We really believe that at the end of the day we've got to get consistent, and we have the opportunity to make the top four. That's something that we can control and only control. So we'll just deal with one game at a time, and our objective is to get into that top four. To think or look any further ahead would be dangerous. We just want to get better each week.
John, the defence has been probably the major problem in the Currie Cup campaign so far. Obviously trying to settle into a new system that you've introduced. When do you feel that's going to happen, that the defence is going to be the way you want it?
I'm sure you'll get a question soon. Defence has been an area of weakness for us for some time, not just Currie Cup. So as you can see, we're very much a club that's in between old way and new way. It puts a greater demand on our athlete as well. So what was really, really encouraging last weekend was probably put away the scoreboard. It was probably our best defensive effort under the new way since we've been going. So there's been tremendous growth in that area. It's also directly related to the energy system as well. So when I say it's a greater demand on the athlete, it's asking for them to become more conditioned around the reloading, and put aside the system. Ultimately, at the end of the day, our athletes have to become more demanding and take greater ownership on their tackle. And we've got too many guys in the club at the moment who miss 2 or 3 tackles, and that's not acceptable standard. So that's something that will be changing very quickly over the next few weeks.
Nic, first of all, well done, congratulations. Do you guys as a team feel as if this is almost a new start, even though it's the same names in the team sheet?
You know, I think we've been growing as a team this season. I know we've had a few downfalls and whatever, but I think the guys are really starting to gel well together. We've been training hard. The guys are really turned their focus to changing it around a bit, and we're looking forward to having a good performance on the weekend.
Nic, obviously last weekend would have been pretty heartbreaking, losing it at the death like that. As leaders, what did you guys learn from that situation?
You know, I think sometimes you are going to have those games where no matter what happens, how hard you try, unfortunate things like with Tony Yankees and charge downs, I mean, that's something you can't plan for. You know, I think if we stick to our systems, we stick to our processes, I feel that hopefully those small losses or those the unlucky bounce of the ball might tend to favour us a little bit more, and we can get some more wins on the board.
Nic, you've now been obviously in the team for 2 years. What's been the sort of biggest hindrance to you guys getting to where you guys want to go? Because you guys have tried to play a certain kind of rugby. It works at times, but then it seems as if you guys keep on retreating back into Asia. What's hindered your guys' progress, whether it's in Super Rugby and obviously now in Currie Cup?
Tough question there, but I think in the season we've struggled a lot with injuries, and a lot of guys who were sort of in and out with long-term injuries. I think that never helps, you know, to get a set team. And I just think that maybe we've, like I said, our focus is gone more towards following our processes, following our structures, and I think that if we can do that, we'll get where we want to be.
John, Pumas and Nelspruit, never an easy trip. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, been up there a couple of times, so they obviously had a good win away. Yeah, they back themselves. They can play from 100 metres out. So yeah, they do express themselves, and they've got some older, experienced guys in the forward pack as well. So if they can control the way that they want to play, they're a dangerous outfit like anyone. But you know, the great thing for us is that you know, what I loved about last weekend, put aside the 40-41, was that our ability to fight, our ability to send the cheaters away a number of times when they had the opportunity, and very healthy opportunities, to score, and to experience 2 yellow cards, and to change the momentum of the match and turn the referees' momentum as well, and present ourselves a 9-point lead. To me, just goes to show that we actually have the capability, and we do it. And I just love the fight, because ultimately rugby is all about dealing with chaotic situations. It's a very dynamic game, and it's never a perfect environment. So you know, our guys are starting to understand about how to work together, and ultimately we just got to go out and earn it. And there's no better place to earn it than be in Nelspruit, and it's going to be a hard earn as well. So we realise that, but that's the challenge that we have to own.
Coach, how does this appointment as being head coach now affect your long-term vision? I mean, we spoke about this 2 weeks ago. So your long-term planning.
If you look at it, it's not nice for somebody to have to go backwards in life, and I have feelings for Nolas. He's a great balls man. He wants to win. He's put his heart and soul in this club, but we as coaches sometimes, for some reason, we don't get it right, and we tend to focus too much on outcome and not enough on process and relationships, and that's what comes with the trade. I understand that fully, and the key to going backwards is that you actually can come forwards, but it's about how you learn to come forward. So when we went through this decision, if you look at my appointment from day one, we were always going to come to this point at some point. We've decided as a company to start earlier than expected, which I think is extremely important. One, to the company, to the shareholders, to the athletes. At the end of the day, their futures depend on performance and consistent success, as well as the stakeholders and the fans. So building a club for me is more important than just wins and losses, and that's the reason why we've not just restructured one position. It's actually we've gone to a point where we've put a lot of intelligence, who've experienced this new methodology for a month, right through the whole club. So we want to get the whole blueprint through the club, so that we're pushing up from the bottom. We need it in the roots of our club, and then obviously is the serious mandates of our flagships is that performance in Currie Cup's important, and so is Super Rugby, and we have to build the club first in order to get back to greatness. And if we think that we're going to do it any other way, then we're going to fall short. But the point that needs to be heard is that we're always going to come to a point at restructuring at some point as a result of my appointment, and we've started it earlier.
John, you've been back for a few weeks now. How does the Currie Cup competition differ from, let's say, 2011 when you won it with the Lions?
Yeah, I think it's got a lot quicker. Ball and play is quite exceptional. I think we saw some games on the weekend where ball and play was for huge periods. Defensively, the competition is still, I think, very average. But I think attacking-wise, it's a fantastic product, and it's a very important product that needs to stay and be strengthened in South African rugby. We're constantly tweaking and playing around with it. But to me, it's a major competition. It's extremely vital to the development of the Super Rugby player. So I sit here with a hat now as head coach of the Currie Cup team, but I've also got an eye on who's capable of stepping up and playing Super Rugby as well. So it's very much a selection process for myself, and I assume for all other director of rugby and head coaches of Super Rugby. So it's a wonderful competition.
Cool, thank you very much.